Morning, Lowlife. It's your boy Rhino back with a spicy episode of the Lowlife podcast. With me this week is our boy Jesse Paws, aka Le Pouta Chef.
Hello.
For the show, bud.
How you doing, man? Good to see ya.
Yeah, man. Good to see you too.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I was appalled that we haven't had you on earlier because, like, when I joined the show, yeah, dude, when I joined, I was like, definitely want to talk to that dude.
I've been living for years in disgust over that, dude. I just didn't have the cojones to say anything to you about it.
Secretly seething. Are you the one that got us canceled? As an act of revenge?
I wrote the letters.
Yeah, wrote a letter that we were showing bestiality.
Terrible. No way.
Dude, I've gotten canceled a handful of times now, and they don't tell you why they cancel you. They're just like,
yeah, just shadow banned on Instagram.
Yeah, just fuck you, trash. You know.
Yeah. No, I've done my best to evade cancellation thus far, but you know.
Yeah, definitely. When, like, I assume you get, if you're running a business, you have to have social media. You have to be active on that to a degree. You know.
Yeah. I'll go months without posting anything, and then I'll make like a post every day for like 2 weeks straight. But it's mostly because like when I get into a groove of like motivation and like just a good flow at work, I'll work like a long cluster of long days while I have it, and then I'll take a long cluster of days off.
Oh, there you go.
But with the social media posting, when I make all those posts, I don't necessarily have time to book more jobs. So then there's there's a decent influx of messages that come in when I start posting, so I can't keep up with it.
True.
I try to keep it as least overwhelming as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why you might see me not post for a little while in between. But
yeah.
I'm always doing something.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing, vapor honing. I would be like, if I post something, every time I post something, I get a new job, like at least one. So it's like, if you don't post, if I'm feeling burnt out or whatever, you're just like, just don't post for a little bit, and then you can catch up on a backlog of shit, you know?
But it is really nice to know that, like, if you need the work, the social media, like, we have like a good unit of people. Like, if we need the work, there's probably something there to get a spot.
Yeah, true. So yeah, we kind of met through a myriad. You're one of those dudes that's always at these motorcycle events, and you definitely stand out because you're usually wheeling a trike, or you have a fucking Dr. Seuss looking ass fucking mini bike or something.
Dude, the kind of bikes that get me off are like Bozozoku, wacky Japan stuff, or just anything that's like maybe Ed Roth-esque different, you know, just anything different. I love it, dude. I had to like kind of like step back from like the whole social media thing, following all kinds of chopper and bike accounts, because I started to feel like, man, there's not going to be any ways to be different anymore. And I was starting to get down on that a little bit, but it's like,
true.
Also, there kind of will be. I go back and forth in my brain. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point, you know, because like you'll see. Here's an example, right? You know, like California, he did that bike with the one handlebar, you know, for Born Free, and then, you know, he posts that, and then you have a dude in Indonesia and a dude in China and a dude in Russia doing the same exact thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, dude, if you put it out there, people will bite it, you know? People will start doing it.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, there's also like a good handful of real dudes doing some different stuff too, though. I just follow around shit. Dude, the algorithms and everything, social media is totally different than it was like 8 years ago when I was like running the Lick Cycle pages and stuff. It was manageable back then. Not anymore. But, yeah, what were we just talking about before?
Doing wild shit, yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like the ways I get annoyed with it, it's like the behaviors of certain people almost date back to like kindergarten, the way they'd act in classrooms. Like if one person sees something kind of cool, they all fucking hop on it. But I don't know.
Yeah, people go. I mean, there's definitely like I remember. I think it was like 2 years ago. It was just like every chopper was pink. Like every tough shovel that came out was like pink. And it's like
Yeah.
it was like a trend, you know?
Well, I hate to sound like bitter like that. I think it's coming across a little bit wrong, but my way to counter that is to like say like the French horn fucking mini bike I had at Deadbeat, right? The first year I showed up with that thing, just with some random pipe on it, people were like, "Oh, that thing's so stupid!" Like this, that, and ever making fun of it. In my head, I'm like, "Yeah, that's the fucking point." So the next
Yeah.
year, I do a fucking another loop de loop and the French horn on it. I'm like, "Fuck all you guys! I want to see the dumbest funniest shit, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that mini bike because dude, it doesn't look like it should run, you know, because it has a motherfucking horn on it. And it looks like something out of a Dr. Seuss book. And it's just like what I like about it, it's like you spent so much time and energy to make that
I
thing
really
that should
did
have never
though.
been made.
I've got a little Lincoln 110 gas welder. That thing does all the work for me, dude.
Still, it's like I don't know. I like I like shit like that because it's like, dude, you're supposed when you go to these shows and shit, you're supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to be goofing off. You know, you're supposed to be just doing stupid shit. You know, like kids.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. And like Deadbeat, like 2019, so before I quit drinking and all the heavy duty partying, it's from what I gathered, it's the most reminiscent of what my dad described like the 80s am jams and rendezvous as.
Yeah. Yeah. Deadbeat was fucking when it was at Fiddlehead. I think it was like peak biker
Yes.
culture. Like 2019, 2020, 2021. That was just like everybody was partying and doing burnouts and crashing mini bikes and losing digits and shit. And yeah, I like it. I like to be around dangerous culture like that. You know, like
Deadbeat 21, I think. That I was still drinking for that. That was the year that Dave and I were. I was all tooted up, and Dave and I were fucking battling it out, racing on that one sand strip that was like
oh yeah.
people coming around the corner, and it was just like a death trap. People crossing over it and shit, getting all fucked
Yeah.
up. That weekend was like one of the like sort of I'm gonna quit drinking now moments because I just remember I parked my van right on the side of that strip, and I remember I got to a point where I was like on a bunch of tutors, booze, and like mushrooms, stuff that people would like never fall asleep on, and I would just like pass out at like 10 o'clock, so fucked up on all of that. And I just remember like rolling over in the van at like 11 while people are clearly still partying, and some girl yells, "Enjoy your heroin, Jesse!" And I like turned over to myself and I'm like, it's not heroin. Enough's enough. I'm never drinking like this again.
It's not heroin.
Everything else would have been fine, but as soon as the heroin, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no
That's
thanks,
the
dude.
only thing I didn't take. But
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Jesus. Yeah, there's like I have standards. I didn't do heroin. Come on,
How
it's
about it?
fentanyl.
Get it
Uh
right.
no
Get it
shit.
right.
So did you stop drinking after that deadbeat?
It was like I stopped drinking in March of like 2022, so it was short after. I'm like
Mm,
2 and 3/4 year into it now, but yeah,
yeah.
just shit got so unmanageable, dude. Back like when I really got into Harleys and stuff, I worked for Lick Cycled, AJ Tibber, and I was working with Jesse Lydette there. Dude, they were like a huge support in all like my wacky Sportster videos, and like they always like just had my back and stuff. Um, but what the fuck? Dude, I keep losing. I got like sick brain right now. Oh, but anyway, the quitting drinking. Yeah. So around the same time, I was riding with a 1% MC, like prospecting from like 19 until like 21 or something like that. They're no longer around, but like I was just always around the partying. So it got to be like just like back of my hand. When I first started drinking and riding, I know that was like a huge turning point too. So yeah, I don't know. I had years of fun times, dude. Don't get me wrong, great stories, and I met so many great people through it. Excuse me, sorry, dude. But I ran the party out. I started to have to like live with a buzz, and I'm like, this is not me, dude.
Yeah.
Certainly not. My parents would not be fucking proud. I'm not making anybody proud. I'm making like, dude, the amount of times I've gotten lucky and like I'm glad I didn't hurt anybody on rides home. I smashed my face up pretty good. That's why I'm missing a tooth. I was all tequilaed up trying to drift the Dyna on like a half wet night some years ago on my way home, and about a fucking mile from my place, dude, I high sided it and I knocked myself out with something
Oh,
and
what
knocked.
the fuck?
Yeah, it was fucked up, dude. But I just remember getting back on my bike. Nobody had passed me by. It was like right on a main road. So I woke up, got back on the bike, rode home, and I was trying to sew my face back together because I'd watched my dad do it when I was like fucking 9 years old. He had a sidecar, just sidecar wheelie, and hit a mailbox with his face that was bolted to the side of a shed. Whole other
What
thing.
the fuck?
So I'm like, all right, I'm all tequila up. I'm like, I watched my dad do it, and he'll just fine. I'm sewing my lip back together. And my brother walks in, and he's like, dude, get in the fucking truck. Let's go. So he took me to the hospital, and it's good thing he did, dude, because the way my face had fractured in here, it made a blood clot, so that all the blood was coming out of my tooth hole, and I ended up needing a transfusion.
Holy
So
shit.
yeah, so if I had just like went upstairs and went to bed and passed out, I could have bled out, dude. So I love my brother so very dearly. But
Jesus.
yeah, before we were having technical difficulties, I just wanted to shout my brother out. He's Jake, my brother Jake. Yeah, he's a huge reason that I'm into two wheels. I grew up riding BMX with him, so thanks, Jake.
Is that
But
your older brother or younger brother?
yeah, older brother.
Older brother. Cool. Yeah. Older
Yeah.
brothers are good for some things, right? Saving your life.
Hey, he's been good for a lot of things. I'm lucky, man. Blessed.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking gnarly. So you got knocked out when you hit the pavement?
Yeah, I've been knocked out a few times, dude. The first time Chopper Fisher and I had met, I think that was one of the deadbeats, 2018 maybe. I came cooking through on the sporty and hit a root jump over by the beaches, and I guess I just like fucking went whirl and landed on my head, and like it looked like I broke my neck, and everybody when I got up was like white as a ghost. And Dave, crazy Dave's like, dude, you shouldn't be walking around right now. I'm just like, let me go, do that.
You're partying too hard when Crazy Dave tells you to chill.
Yeah, I just got to go on the record and say too, dude, if anybody's like met me in one of those public settings or like at any of the bike shows and they're like not satisfied with how I came across, my brain is always on like half speed at public events. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I may just get overstimulated easy and
Yeah.
but yeah.
No shit. So you have the powder coating thing.
Yes.
You build just wild shit. But aren't you also in a band or you were in a band?
Yeah, Goblet. So Goblet is the reason that we got involved in the chopper scene.
Oh.
Back like 2014, I think. Brian from Lane Splitter hit us up to do a show in New Bedford at like that big warehouse, and like I think it was Trevor Quayle. He had like a stunt show going out back of the place, and it was just a big chopper event. And yeah, it was kind of a strange show. There was one band before us that seemingly played for like 2 hours, and I think they thought they were the only band playing. So by the time we went, it was super late. Nevertheless, had a great time. Brian invited us back out there, Nick and I, on the bikes for the bash. In what, 2016, I think? Yeah, the bash was in 2016 where I met Chicken Rick and a bunch of other great people. It was at Trash Boat's place. So yeah, that's Goblet kind of was our gateway into all the chopper
No
guys.
shit. What kind of
Yeah.
music is it?
Thrash. Call it bastard thrash because it's like it's thrash metal, but it's got a little bit of like all the wacky shit we like to listen to into it. You know.
No shit. Is it on like
Yep.
Spotify? Can people go listen to Goblet right
Yeah,
now?
Goblet. Goblet on Spotify. There's, I think it's Goblet 2 because there was one before us, and we can't get a hold of them to get the rights to that. So, We have a new EP coming out, hopefully within the next month or two. We just got done recording it. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm stoked, dude. I think there's like 5 or 6 songs on there.
No
But
shit.
yeah, I'm actually satisfied with this recording process. A lot of the times, dude, when we've got stuff recorded in the past, it's like 3 years till we release it. So by the time we do, it's like, fuck, I could have done that way better. But
Yeah.
also,
How,
our music's not for everybody, dude. It's not traditional thrash metal, but if you come to one of our shows, dude, I guarantee you'll have a good time.
is there any like what other kind of bands kind of sound like influence you guys?
We've been compared to DRI before. Um, Shit, man. I mean, it's a little hard to compare.
Hmm.
Um, we've covered some Anthrax songs. We've covered like a Pantera set years ago before when that was still really cool. But yeah, I don't know, dude. You just gotta kind of go listen to it.
Yeah,
It's hard to describe. That's why we call it bastard thrash. It's like a bastardized version of thrash metal.
that's sick. So, did you grow up in the I guess like punk and hardcore scene, or is thrash a separate scene? See, my co-host, he's the music guy. I don't know much about music.
So like, we've always gotten along with the hardcore guys too. Like they seem to get a kick out of our music. So we just we're like chameleons, you know.
Okay.
Like the Pittsfield hardcore kids, or well, dudes now, they've always been super welcoming to us, and that's the majority of the music scene around here is run by the hardcore kids. So they were just happy to have another you know another band around. We never play locally that much. We try not to oversaturate because it makes people come out to that one show a year that you do.
Hmm.
Makes the turnout better. We played a lot at Sammy's Patio out in Revere. We played a lot of Eastern Mass stuff. East Hampton's a good like home base for us. But yeah, we're going on like 12 years as a band now. Nick,
Holy shit.
Nick, my bandmate, our guitarist, uh, he's the one that does these long road trips with me. I go with him on these long road trips on the bikes. We went out to Cali and back. And dude, he's hardcore into it. Like he'll do 800 miles a day easy in the middle of the fucking heat wave in 2021. We did it,
Oh shit.
and dude, like in Ohio in a torrential downpour, we'd be like hydroplaning on the highway, and I gotta speak up to Nick and be like, dude, we gotta get off the highway now. Let's keep going.
Jesus
So
Christ.
so props to him for being such a die-hard rider and being such a good road partner. We're always like this right on the highway the whole way, dude.
Hmm.
I like riding in the gutter and he rides in the middle.
No
But
shit. Yeah, dude. So what how long did it take you? Where'd you guys go on that trip?
the Cali trip, we just so we tried to get out to Vegas as quick as possible. I think we made it in 3 days. I don't do a good job at remembering the exact routes. I just like let Nick map it and follow along. Um, but we checked out a lot of different state parks. We circled around all California into Utah. We saw the arches. There's actually a video of it called Big Cylinder Road Trip on my YouTube page, Jesse Paws. Um, but yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, and
No
we
shit.
went down south. We were supposed to do a Florida trip earlier this year, but it's been such a busy year for me. Between moving into this apartment about a year ago today almost, and just working on this place, and then trying to manage the shop at the same time. So we traded out the Florida trip for Quebec City, and
Oh, Lord.
yeah, went up through Maine. It was good. Did a little 4 day trip instead this year on the Road King. But
Sick. Yeah, dude. Quebec. Hey, Quebec's nice.
yeah, dude.
It's like going
Yeah,
to a different country. It's kind of cool.
yeah. It just seeing how old all the stuff is there, just knowing and I did one of those ancestry.com things where I traced back a lot of my like ninth grandparents. A lot of them came from like Quebec City, so
Hmm.
it's just cool stepping foot in like somewhere that looked the same back then, and kind of just trying to picture it like that.
Yeah, I'm realizing I said it's kind of like going to a different country. It's literally going to a different country, right, guy? Uh,
Yeah.
But no, what I meant to what I in my fucking retarded brain, what I meant to say is like when you it's really close. Like if you're in New Hampshire, Mass, going up to Canada's into the French speaking areas of Canada is it's short trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't. Yeah, I don't do good with like I was at the gas station and the girl was asking me if I wanted Supreme gas. She was just like Suprema, and I didn't
yeah,
have any idea what she was saying until she fucking wrote it out for me. I'm like, oh, Suprema, yeah,
yeah,
Suprema,
yeah,
yeah,
dude. It's funny because it's like if you go up into like Montreal or whatever, they speak English and French both perfectly. Like you'll go to a restaurant and they start speaking to you in French, and then they see that stupid look on your face that you don't understand what they're talking about, and then they immediately switch to perfect. It's like better than my English, and I only speak one language, and I'm like, you
they definitely get a
motherfuckers.
kick out of it.
Oh yeah, they definitely think they're better than us.
Oh fuck.
Fucking
Their
frauds.
dispensaries are cool though. It's yeah, the socialism up there. I'm not political at all, but like different things kind of work. You can see how they work. Like all the dispensaries are one dispensary, so you know what you're getting every time you walk in. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
I don't
It's a
know.
weird place,
Yeah,
but
absolutely. It's like that. It definitely is like the South Park episode.
the other thing I noticed is like fucking in the definitely in the like Parisian areas, like if you go to like Montreal or whatever,
Yeah,
everybody smokes still. Like in America, like there's not a whole lot of motherfuckers that still smoke. It used back in my day when I was growing up, every person that was walking around was smoking, aunts, uncles, cousins, like freely smoking. And
well,
now
me
nobody
too.
smokes. Yeah, now everybody just fucking vapes. Um,
Zin.
yeah, Zin is huge. I can't do the Zins. I can't do the Zins.
I haven't tried them yet. You know what I was using for a little while was those nicotine toothpicks.
A toothpick.
Yes, yeah. I think the brand is Crave, but
That's
yeah,
pretty
dude. I
cool.
mean, yeah, I can't, so I can't call myself sober. I know I have a lot of respect for, there's a lot of, um, full surrender type sobriety people out there. And I don't want them to get confused with, oh, I'm calling myself sober when I smoke weed and like, stuff like that. Um, I just do what works for me. I think that's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
But,
if
yeah,
if
nicotine's
someone I
been
don't
one
know
of the,
anybody that got sober that didn't start smoking. I mean, didn't stop drinking, but then they're like, "Oh, well, I don't drink anymore. I got to get fucked up on something." So, smoke weed, which is not it's not as dangerous, like alcoholics, they have problems with fucking driving and hurting other people, hurting themselves,
yeah.
or like blacking out or like violence and shit like that.
Yeah, I never had a problem until I did. And also, dude, like I couldn't keep a fucking relationship at all, dude.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just like a lot of delusion goes with your brain being drunk every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the like so I'm definitely an alcoholic, but I'm such a great alcoholic. I don't hurt any like I'm just really nice and I get sleepy.
Dude, some
So,
people like their beers and stuff, and if it
yeah.
stays at the same level for you, then and it's not like you don't see things crumbling around you, you
Yeah.
know, then fine,
Yeah,
and
I definitely would be more productive without beer and
yeah.
booze.
And
But
if I wasn't sick and the boys were here with me tonight, I'd be like, have fucking beers here. That people can drink around me and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was never gonna be a square about people partying around me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's fucking tough. I don't know. I've never really tried to give it up. Like I'll do it for short periods of time
Yeah,
and then it's hard. Alcohol's a hard drug to give up.
yeah. It's just always around and always available. But you go
Yeah.
long enough without it, it just becomes like for me, just got used to it a little bit. Obviously, there's hard days here and there where like, man, I'd really love a beer, but it's like
Yeah.
my idea of a good buzz is like 10 deep and holding it there, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a thrill seeker, so it's like there's no just casual. And if I find something I like to do, I'm fucking doing it all day.
Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, life's good, man. I'm happy I made the decision when I did because there's a lot of stuff I want to accomplish with Powder Chef and and things. I don't think I could have I don't think I would be on the right track to accomplishing him if I stayed on the rate I was, just not showing up half the days of the week, just because I was like rather drink, work on my own shit. You know, I
Right.
I, I never really like turned into a total piece of shit where I wasn't doing anything at all, but I got to a point where I was like, oh fuck my business. I just wanted to do everything for myself and work on my own stuff, and it's kind of
Right.
being a bum dude. But
Yeah. So when did let's talk about Powder Chef. So when did you when was the conception of the idea? Like how'd you come up with like that's what I want to get into, and when did were you finally like doing it full time?
I bounced around job to job from like, so I dropped out of high school when I was 16 and got my GED right away because I didn't do good with academics and stuff like that. Um, but I went to work for a stone shop. I did some carpentry, this, that, and ultimately I ended up serving tables at a busy restaurant in North Adams, like an urban cuisine place, like kind of like high end. So it was cool. I was happy with it, and then COVID hit, so I got laid off, and the relief that like restaurant workers got from that, I'm like, shit, man, I'm gonna use this to build a business that I already knew. Prior to that, sorry, skip this. Prior to the restaurant job, I had powder coated for like a year at another place and really gotten to like it. So I'm like, all right, I know how to powder coat. Small setups, I can probably manage to get this, with some unemployment. So like every unemployment check, I'd get another piece of equipment. Started in my dad's garage. Thank you, Dad, for supplying that space to me starting out. But yeah, it's just been all baby steps from about 2020. I think December of 2020 is when I started for myself. And right from the beginning, dude, I had like a Franken oven, just two household ovens that I stacked and cut the middle out, and I just kept fucking going bigger and bigger from there. So um, yeah, work started coming in like fucking right as soon as I started posting about it. One of my first jobs that was like, I think the first job was a chopper associated one. It was for Russ, like three wheel man in Buffalo, New York guy on Instagram. It was a front end for him, a chrome front end for his Volkswagen trike, which I owe him a redo on that because in the Franken oven, I didn't cure the clear coat enough, so it spider webbed a little bit on part of the Springer front end. So Russ, I owe you a job on that still. I haven't forgotten about you. Um, but yeah, dude, I haven't. I think other than that, I've gotten one call back in the last 4 years of doing this shit. I just like to put out a product that I would pay somebody that amount to do, and be happy with.
So I want to get into the DIY oven thing, but like for
Yep.
people that might not know, some of our listeners are very stupid. What is the process of powder coating? Like explain what it is and what it does. What is powder coating?
Powder coat itself, the material is a very fine ground up polyurethane plastic or epoxy plastic. There's a handful of different kinds and types of powder. It comes out of a gun, gets electrostatically charged, and whatever the piece you're coating is, you're going to ground that. That's grounded to your hook or somewhere else. So statically charged powder, think of it like a balloon that's all full of static floating towards somebody's head. You're the ground. So all the powder attracts to that piece because it's grounded, and it won't. I mean, some of the cheaper guns and cheaper equipment, they'll give you a really fucking hard time getting powder into corners and stuff like that. The way static moves, it naturally wants to bounce it in between and not into the corner. It wants to skip over the corner.
Hmm.
Um, but so yeah, so you get the whole part coated with that ground up powder, and then you bake it down in an oven. Um, it's kind of I don't know how into it you want me to get with technical details, but yeah, after it's attracted to the piece and fully covered, you bake it down. It melts over the piece, and metal is porous, especially aluminum. So as it heats up, it's the powder's getting into that metal, and you're getting a really strong coating. As long as I mean, dude, prep work has a ton to do with everything. Most of it's prep work, to be honest, and I'm super anal about prep.
Yeah, so I've done a bit of powder coating. I have a Harbor Freight gun.
Nice. So
It's
basically what I started with. I made
yeah,
made probably like 4 months into doing it with one of those.
yeah. You can absolutely get away with it if you're doing like small parts. But the problem is you need an oven and you need a big oven. If and like the one thing that I'd like to be able to do is my own frames,
Mm.
because you really want those. I'm a black frame guy. I don't, that's just my taste. So it would be nice to just when you get a new fucking bike, strip it down and then just powder coat the frame fresh.
I know. Yeah, it sucks going to have to spend $400 on just a black frame.
Yeah, dude.
But so, I mean, the easiest way to get by if you're just a DIYer, you just get a bunch of steel studs, galvanized studs from Home Depot. I'm the guy on the Home Depot commercial that they talk about, the doer that gets more done, like regular old Bob Villa. So yeah, you just get a bunch of metal studs, some galvanized sheet metal. I used metal roofing on the outside of the oven from galvanized sheet metal on the inside, and then you use rock wool insulation because it holds up to the heat. And you can basically just make whatever shape oven you want, dude, like
Really?
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't overthink it. You can't overthink it. And the floor of the oven too. That was a tough part for me to figure out. That I didn't have a floor in my oven. I just built it off a concrete floor, and the concrete would suck so much of the fucking heat out of the oven, dude. I could never get it up to temp. So all I did is just make a 2x4 frame for the floor, so the wheels still roll around it on the cart. I'm not like rolling a cart up. Some people have ovens with a floor, then you got to fuck around with a cart and try to shove it up in there, and your parts are banging all over the place.
Hmm.
So yeah, just a little insulation on the floor with a metal cover on it solved that. A lot of it's trial and error, dude. If you built an oven just for the size of a frame, you could get away with like two electric elements. In really, all you would do is just like go get a couple old electric ovens people are throwing out, and take all the. You just follow the wires in them with the thing unplugged, of course. Take all the guts out of it and just remember how to put it back into your oven. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the elements in just like the control panel. Like just the digital panel on the back of the oven that you see, that little thing comes out of there in one unit, and you can run all the wires down to your heating elements into your own framed up oven.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you can't. A big thing is you can't overthink it, dude. A lot of this stuff you can't overthink it, and it's trial and error too. It's baby
Right.
steps.
Right. So in a DIY oven, you're taking the heating elements, but also like the control panel, right? So you can just that control panel, the only thing it goes to is those heat elements. Tell it how fucking, or maybe it goes to a fan or something. But um,
I have a fan on mine too. A fan is pretty critical.
oh really?
Uh, yeah, it's just a Dayton Electric high temp fan, and you can use either exhaust pipe or duct pipe and just put it on the top of the oven and round it around from the bottom. Hot spots are a big problem, dude. That's the other thing.
So you're actually circulating air inside the oven.
Yeah, you have to because you want inside the oven as uniform as a temperature, uniform of a temperature as you can get. I have a few different thermometers in different spots in my oven, and I sit there watching it like a crackhead, dude, while it's baking parts. Because it would be impossible for me to teach somebody else how to use my oven. If you build an oven, you gotta like get to know it. Do a lot of testers and
Right.
get. I'll sit and watch the thermometers, and it'll take a while to get up to temp, and then all of a sudden it'll start going up past that temp really quick, and that's when you know the metal's at the temperature you want.
Hmm. Okay.
Your cure schedule on the powder, say the package says 15 minutes at 400. Some guys get it wrong and put the part in there for 15 minutes at 400 and pull it out. Your cure schedule begins when the part hits that 400 degrees. So a Harley part should probably be in there a half an hour to reach a full cure schedule.
Oh no shit. So after you spray, it's 15 minutes once it hits temp.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And
Yeah, and all of them are different, man. All the powders have different
right.
cure schedules. Some of the multi-stage ones, you're only flash curing, and then you're full curing with the clear on it. There's so
Mhm.
many variables.
Yeah. And the thing I was going to ask though is, look, you have a fan running in there, and that powder isn't cured. I mean, you can take powder if you've ever powder coated anything. I mean, you could literally just brush it off with your finger.
Yeah.
You can blow it off because it's only held onto the metal by electricity that you had charged it, but then it's no longer has a current running to it. You know.
Right, but it holds enough charge as long as you had a good ground and you got good coverage. You should be able to like if I overloaded a part with powder because there's a really fucking tight area like on a lot of Harley frames, I got to focus on one area and then over here starts to
Hmm.
get those little craters from buildup. I can just blow it, just with a good solid breath to get the majority of the extra off there without blowing. There's enough of a static bond to where you shouldn't be able. Just a little circulation fan shouldn't blow the powder off. If that's the case, you got
Mm.
to make ground.
Okay.
Yeah, I have two ground rods going like 15 feet into the ground to my hook. I ground everything. I'm like a ground maniac.
No shit. Grounding actually into the ground. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Some guys will pour buckets of water down the ground rod hole in the summertime when it gets really dry because it doesn't make full ground contact.
Oh wow. Shit. Yeah. So what's like an estimated DIY oven for like that could accommodate a frame? Like how much you spending on the galvanized steel and shit?
For my 7 foot by 5 foot by 3 foot, which is big enough for a two-seater Polaris razor cage. So like, a good size Harley frame and some extra. That ran me, I want to say around 3K. But I got a whole electric panel from Auber Instruments. It's a legitimate electric panel with dude, I spent like a whole weekend learning control wiring schematics, and I wired this whole thing in like a scientist. It was crazy. Like control wiring, the tiny wires and the
Yeah.
fucking fuse blocks and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love working with electric shit like that. It's fun, like building the vapor honer was like, you have power sources and fucking running wires and shit. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun. And yeah, you do feel like a scientist.
Yeah. And listen, dude, if you're gonna be like a small time business or try to just like start from nothing, basically, you have to be crafty with what you're doing. Like all my necessary tools that I have now, I've gotten them one by one. Like I
Hmm.
started with an Ingersoll Rand compressor, like a big one, what I thought was a big one from Tractor Supply. That lasted me maybe 6 months, dude. Like before I figured out that wasn't gonna be enough. So it's like then I got the big boy compressor. Then I got an air dryer that started saving me a lot of fucking issues. Then I started upgrading my sandblaster. It seems to be whatever needs the most attention or whatever's giving me the hardest time is what I focus on replacing with something better. And I try to do that every couple months or so.
What size compressor do you have to run because you're working at really low PSI, aren't you?
I run mine full bore. I start out with 80 grit aluminum oxide, and after like the first few blasts with it full bore, it breaks down to like 120.
Oh, I was thinking for the
So,
spraying of the gun of the powder, but for the prep
oh,
work, yeah, for the prep work, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
so yeah, sorry, I got off on sandblasting. That's like the sandblasting and prep. That's like the biggest part of what I do. Having the capabilities to do all of that.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, you
Yeah,
know,
what do you have for a sandblaster?
it's a pot blaster from Harbor Freight with all. I
Hmm.
found all this shit on Google over time, dude, and like certain Facebook groups and certain helpful people. Sandblasting Small Fries is a great Facebook group for fucking blasters. Dude, I have no problem teaching people how to blast better and get them a better blasting setup because the less blasting I have to fucking do, the better.
No shit.
But I will say anything that comes to me already blasted, I do go over again because you don't know what it's touched in the meantime.
Right.
Um, But anyway, yeah, it's a Harbor Freight pot blaster with all bigger valves swapped onto it. I've got a legit boron carbide nozzle on it, so it doesn't wear out as quick as the ceramics. Um, so about 35 CFM is what you want out of a compressor to be able to sandblast like that, like without having a huge pain in the ass. With your vapor honing, dude, you know you got to have a lot of fucking CFM. What do you use?
Yeah, I have an 80-gallon two-stage compressor. It's a Cobalt, and it just runs constantly. I am gonna kill that thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm running. I blast at probably around 60 psi. So it's kind of low, but I mean, it's an 80-gallon tank, so it's
Hmm.
constantly kicking on. You know.
And I wonder with the excuse me with the water and vapor, it might require less CFM because there's more material for the air to be blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I do dry blasting too, and that you're running a higher CFM typically, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
because that's when parts are really dirty and you're blasting off oil and shit like that. The trick is to get them as clean as possible before they get vapor honed. Vapor honing is
Yeah.
more of like
Absolutely.
a finishing process when you want like that look. But yeah, just blasting it off with like black diamond or whatever the fuck that shit is. But the Harbor Freight fucking blast cabinets are really tough to tune in. I've never had a lot of luck with them.
There's an upgrade kit that I put on mine, but I mean it's still kind of fucking cheesy. They clog up a lot. It
Yeah,
makes it a usable blaster. It comes with a new proportioning valve and stuff like that.
yeah, the metering
Uh,
valve's huge. That's the thing is
yeah,
like right out of the box, that siphon tube, garbage. The gun
dude.
is garbage.
The best bet is if you have any space or if you can set up even a tent or just an 8x8 shed, put a
Hmm.
pop blaster in there, get the suit, and like fuck. I guess the air fed helmet's the expensive part because you have to have air to yourself. Some people take the pop blaster and they hook it up to the cabinet and they put a return down to the pot at the bottom of the funnel on the cabinet.
That's actually a
Uh,
great idea because the pot blaster, I have one of those too, and they work great.
yeah, yeah. So you could do that. You
That's
know.
actually a great idea. I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Damn.
join Stand Blasting Small Fries if you're on Facebook.
Yeah, dude, I'm in a bunch of those fucking weird groups. Like whenever I get, obviously I'm in a bunch of vapor honing groups, and they're
Yeah,
pretty active. And the dudes that are on those groups are like into it.
yeah,
But yeah, tons of good information on that shit, and people like trade, give you inside secrets and shit like that.
yeah.
But
There's like a dude. I bounce back and forth in between. Like I'm not telling anybody my secrets, and then I'm like the most helpful person in the world some days. So it
yeah,
depends on how fucking burnt out I am, to be honest.
yeah, it's like when it's your whole livelihood, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna teach this guy that lives one town over exactly how to do what I do. It's like,
Dude, the only time I really get kind of weird and sensitively offended is like when somebody I know a town over starts powder coating, and then I don't hear from them like for forever, dude. Like they avoid me, you know. So it's like, dude, like there's some kind of created animosity. Like I don't care if people are hobbying, but as soon as you make it weird, it's fucking weird.
yeah, dude. I just don't get that. Like, yeah, like for me, if you start a business, even if it's the same, is something that I'm doing, it's like, why would you want that smoke? Like, I won't name any names, but there's a couple of people, like a couple of my friends, they've started their own business and doing, something like like something like that, like a trade or a service, and dudes come at them, and they're like, "Fuck you." You're moving it because you're like losing money. It's like, dude, there's the pie is infinitely big, guys.
Some days, man, I wake up and I'm like, I don't know how anybody provides services of any kind for anybody. The way people behave, dude, I can't speak on all my customers. Thank you to all my good customers. But the few knuckleheads a year I deal with, dude, oh my god, they are memorable.
Oh, dude, I bet. Yeah, that's like I don't know, I I kind of it was nice doing side work, having a side gig, because if someone was being annoying, I just wouldn't work with them, like
Yeah, no, I have like a little list in my phone of people I just don't answer the phone for
yeah,
anymore. And it's just like, dude, like if you're gonna bug me day after day to get your stuff done, and then you're the type of person to not show up when I tell you it's done. It's like, man, I could have used all that other time to work on something that would have paid me. Like
yeah,
I don't make a ton of money on this stuff, dude. I'm not like rolling in dough. I make enough to get by. I don't need a lot.
yeah,
Um, but if there's a hiccup in my fucking payments, dude, just like anybody else nowadays, it's tough.
right. Yeah,
So
I actually I had an ad up on like Facebook, advertising it, and I had to shut that shit down because you get these fucking boomers, dude. They're like old white men are like the fucking worst to work with. They have a
they'll
million
call you and
questions.
call
Oh
you
yeah.
and get more mad every time they get the voicemail, dude. They leave me an angry voicemail. You think I'm gonna call them back after seeing how they behave
Oh
without even
yeah.
talking to me?
Yeah.
That's another thing that some people from like that find me on Google and stuff. Understandably so, like they probably think I'm like a industrial type spot, because but that's the opposite of what I'm doing. Like people know powder coating as like these shops that just like hang and spray shit on a conveyor belt, and whenever they stop by, you can just throw it in the fucking process with it.
Yeah.
But I refuse to become a conveyor belt company. I'll do like small production runs for local machine shops and stuff like that, dude. But the variety is what keeps me alive.
Hmm.
Keeps the and keep well, it keeps the love alive, I should say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is like, yeah, someone sees an advertisement. It's just if you look at like your logo and like if you're on IG or whatever and you see your pictures and stuff, you're like, this is a fun guy I want to work with. But
Thanks, dude.
yeah, they just on Google that you attract the wrong kind of people, because they're stupid. They don't have like that other context to go with
Yeah.
it. Like this is the person I'm supporting. I've been burnt a couple times from powder coaters. Like some of them suck. Some of them like they'll give you. I got a sissy bar, it had a bunch of drips in it. It's like, oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen with powder,
Yeah,
but powder coaters are like roofers, dude. There's a lot of them nowadays, and there's some really good ones, and there's a lot of really bad ones.
yeah,
Yeah, it's don't go to Florida and try to be a powder coater, dude. It's fucking slim picking down there. Um, but
So
yeah,
what is the? Because I guess it's powder coating. I was just like, oh yeah, it's just paint that you cure. Is it paint or is it?
dude, it's basically, I mean, the color quality and the different types of colors they're coming out with, it might as well be paint. The toughest part about that, trying to do like tins with it,
Mhm.
is trying to get it without orange peel in it. And on my trike that I built, I on the tank, I cut the sides off of like another split tank, and I like welded them onto the top of it so that the lines with the seat would be better. But I used a lot of like JB filler in there and stuff like that. So by the time I got done with all those layers of things on it, I had a lot of orange peel in the clear coat.
So you
So
can powder coat on JB Weld.
yeah, I'll talk about that in just a second because that's
Yeah.
a whole other thing. Um, but yeah, so I got the orange peel in, and I'm like, fuck, it's driving me nuts. So I learned how to buff and polish the powder coat, which I had seen a couple people do, like in random posts or YouTube videos or something. But I finally tried it, and I was able to buff and polish it, or wet sand and polish it out good. The JB Weld, yes, but the thing with that is when you have a really thick spot of it, you have to like coat those areas hot, and I hate coating hot because it's easy to get extra buildup in places. So like when the
Like
part's ready to,
coating hot would be like you put the part and preheat it.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, hot flocking, some people call it. But yeah, so it's just it's sort of a tedious process. you got to get the part out of the oven hot and then hit those JB spots and then let the part cool down and then do the rest of it so that when it fully cures, it all cures together.
Hmm.
Um, Another thing with the JB's not always 100%, dude. I've had a little sheetrocking experience over time. And when you're spreading that mud out and getting all the air bubbles out, it's just as critical for the JB as it is for the sheetrock bubbles, dude. You gotta comb the JB out until there's no air bubbles in it because those fuckers will keep fucking
Oh yeah.
keep keep giving you little pinholes.
So
But
are you like you did a sheetrock for a living?
my dad's a carpenter, so I
Oh,
mean
okay.
that was, naturally one of my first jobs.
Yeah.
And but it's come in handy, dude. I've been building this apartment that we moved into about a year ago. The landlord's super easy with me. Shout out Ben. He lets me
Hey,
remodel.
you only get three shout outs a show.
Oh,
Ben,
really?
Ben, shout out revoked. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say I got a whole
Fuck
list
you,
for Ben
Ben.
if you want it.
No, that's
No,
cool.
no, but yeah. So I just like the other day we had to move the couch in, so I had to take the whole fucking door frames out of the house
Oh
and take
shit, yeah.
the railing off of the stairs from like 1950s. So I
Yeah.
built the whole railing back in. Yeah, this place scratches my carpentry itch for sure.
Dude. Fucking drywall, man. It's like the bane of my fucking existence. I have to do a ton of it because I'm like remodeling everything, garage and house and shit. But
Yeah,
it's the one thing for whatever reason I don't get any better at. Dude, I watch videos. I watch like hundreds of videos on like how to do it correct. I don't know what I'm missing, but I suck at it. And dude, I'm just looking at my walls. They're all dog shit. And then it's such a process. Like I can first of all I can't cut the sheetrock correctly. Like if it's not a perfect like 8 by 4 foot that I can just plug it in, zip a couple screws in. I have to cut angles and shit. It's fucked. I get it. I'll measure 100 times. By the time
yeah.
I get it's like by the time I
All
get
the
it up
walls are
there,
crooked.
yeah, the house is shifting or something. I'm like, what the fuck? And then mudding, I just can't get I see these guys. They just like they got the two things. They're just like, whoop, oh, that's done, dude.
Oh,
I get
dude,
it all over myself. I fucking suck at it, and I don't get any better at it.
it's years of doing it, man. Uh, but I will say it's made me better at spreading JB on shit. It's made me better at like auto body. Like on the hearse, I had to sauce the whole fiberglass top on the hearse with with the lower body on it, because the vinyl top blew off of it going down fucking I-90 one day.
What the fuck? I
Yeah,
forgot about
so
that. I forgot about that hearse. Do you still have that thing?
fuck yeah, dude. Almost a decade now.
Where the hell did you get that?
Some really sketchy used car dealership down off of down off of 91 in Windsor. CT Car Co. Fucking sketchiest guys ever, dude. No title, no nothing, but it was like $1,000. So I'm like, I'll figure it
So
out.
what kind of car is it that they converted into a hearse? Is it like a Lincoln or some shit?
It's a 1986 Buick LeSabre estate wagon, and they cut the whole rear end of the car off, and then they welded a foot of material and welded the rear end back on, so they stretched it. And yeah, that's about it to make it into a hearse. They put a big fiberglass shell over the back of it, but yeah, when the top blew off, there was a seam left in between, that and the body. It was all bare fiberglass, so I just meshed the whole thing down and made it look. It looks like a fucked up milk truck, kind of, just all blended.
That thing's so fucking cool.
And I saw something on Instagram the other day. Some guy in I think it was like an old steam engine fucking station wagon he built, but the front end on it was all stretched out. So I want to try stretching the front end on it one day. Some real monster ass shit.
Dude, how far is it stretched? Like, how long is that fucking thing?
It's only a foot and a half long
Oh,
on
okay.
its top. Yeah, yeah. But they didn't move the axle back, so it's just a really long caboose.
Oh, fuck. That's wild,
Like a
dude.
school bus.
I was looking at some of the fucking powder coat jobs that you can get into, and it blows my mind how like how good they can be. Like they're not. It's not just like a single color application, right? I mean,
Mm.
you can do all
So,
sorts of shit.
so that's what I've always been trying to push the limit with is like it says in my bio, trying to like perfect the artistic form of powder. Just like doing those two tones with the vinyl pull techniques and yeah, just a lot of things that a lot of people don't want to take the time to do. It's not like nobody's doing it. There's some guys out there that have been doing it long before I started, but yeah, yeah, I really like making powder coat look like paint because I don't have the patience to be a wet painter. I have huge props to all you wet spray painters out there because I can't imagine some paint job going bad on like the last fucking stage or having to wait for shit to cure, dude. If something goes bad with a powder coat, it's in the stripper and I can probably have it blasted the same day if I really am in a pinch,
Hmm.
you know. So
Right.
that's where it's appealing to me. And powder, like pencil hardness, like scratch wise, you can scratch it a little bit easier than some paints. Some catalyzed paints are a lot harder surface hardness wise. Um, but for impact resistance, say if you hit the powder with a hammer, the people call it the hammer test. If it flakes off, then you did a bad job. So
Wow.
powder's really good on impact resistance and like corrosion prevention, and a lot of the clear coats are like real automotive grade nowadays. So like you can polish them back out if they start to get they call them micro scratches. Like if you take a dry paper towel to like a gloss black fresh powder, you can see little swirls in it just because
Hmm.
gloss black if it's like a mirror, it's going to show you everything.
No shit. So
Yeah.
so when you're prepping parts, like you're doing frames, so you have to. What's the best way to remove powder coat? Like once it's cured, or if you fuck up and you have to like redo something.
Methylene chloride stripper is the best shit ever and the worst shit ever at the same time, dude. Because we have about 5 years right now to phase out methylene chloride stripper. It's the stinkiest shit. If you get it on your arms or anything, dude, it doesn't matter how close the sink is. Before you're in stuff, you're gonna have a burn left over from it. But it gets powder coat off fast.
How
So
do you how
I'm
do you get that
actually
shit?
Yeah, so you can still get it for a little while. You got to have a proper business ID and stuff like that. But
Oh no shit.
so I'm actually in the middle of right now swapping over to the eco stuff because I don't want to be um, one of the last ones out of the methylene chloride thing, like in a pinch. You know what I mean? I'd rather just fucking dive into the deep end fast and fucking get the problem over with. Get the eco stripper here. Problem is the
Hmm.
eco stripper is about $1,400 a barrel, a little more expensive than the methylene chloride, and you have to keep it heated in a drum to use it to like 180 degrees. So I have a stainless 55-gallon barrel that I got with a drum heater. I'm now limited to like 22-inch wheels I can do. That kind of sucks. I can probably just about fit a frame in one end at a time, you
Oh, I
know.
see. You have to
So
dip it.
yeah, you let it soak for about some Euro coatings, the tough ones take about an hour to do in that eco stripper. So my plan is just to have that on hand, dude. And if I can't fit the stuff, I'll sub out the powder coat or the blast work to a bigger blaster close by.
Hmm.
It's fine. I just less breaking my back carrying fucking big shit around. But I will also try to get a couple barrels of the B17 before it's fully out in case I get some real shit, I got to do.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because that's the most.
that eco stripper though, you've used it before and it works just as well as the.
I have not used it yet, but a lot
Oh,
of people that are like pretty respectable in the community are having a good time with it. So,
okay. Because I
oh,
remember
dude,
like the fucking aircraft stripper used to have the good shit in it, and
that's the methylene
yeah,
chloride.
yeah. And
Yep,
now
and it
you
would
can't
make
get that shit. Consumers can't get that shit. So
it'd make the paint or powder comes off like a banana peel.
yeah.
Yeah, the stripper I'm trying to get is actually called nanner peel. I've heard good
That's
things about it, but Benco's been really good to me, so I'll call them and ask them about their option first.
yeah. I got to do that. Like that was one of the biggest headaches. Like trying to just using all the strippers and then being disappointed that none of them work. You know?
Oh, dude, there's nothing worse than having to get the powder off of something and you can't.
Yeah.
Especially because, dude, like, I mean, I don't sort of the way I operate. My jobs go to like the very last of the timeline on it. I like to take my time and be in my right, like, the right motivated frame of mind when I'm doing my work.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, if you're in a pinch and you don't have enough stripper left over to fix the fuck up, it's you start sweating pretty quick.
Oh yeah, dude. And it's so much better. Like, dude, beat like blasting, like dry blasting a frame sucks ass. There's so
Yep.
many like little nooks and crannies. It's so heavy after like flipping it over 1,000 fucking times, and then you're like, oh fuck, I forgot that. And, like underneath of that bar, you know.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to just dip and it strips and it's no effort at all, you know.
Yeah.
But that
It's probably
sucks.
worth noting that my shop is only like 1,200 square feet, but I have everything spatially worked out just right to where, like, say, one thing comes out when another goes in. Like, my sandblast room is a good like eighth of the shop. I've got a really nice big sandblast pit in there. I've got a part with a booth that's just a shower curtain that wraps around with a fan with a filter that goes out the wall. Everything has its home, and like you can pull off a fucking commercial grade business out of like a 1,200 square foot two bay garage.
No shit. Now I
Yeah,
think you mentioned earlier that in your blasting booth, you have an air-fed mask.
the helmet, the air fed helmet, that's the most important part, dude, because there's nothing more important than your lungs and breathing. I've had asthma forever. I used to be hit the bong and everything still, but um, I tried doing it with a gas mask for a little bit, and it's so dusty in there that it clogs right up. And I'm like, fuck this. So the helmet was like a four or $500 investment, mostly because of like the little air condition unit that comes off the back of it. It's expensive, but
Is that so it
that
doesn't fog up?
yeah. So it's this whole spaceman helmet. As long as you have air coming into the helmet, the sand and dust can't get in. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the air for a little while I had it hooked up to a compressor out in the shop, and that wasn't quite doing it for the helmet. So then I had to fork over another $1,500 for the free. It's called a free air pump. It pumps just like ambient air into the helmet. So the whole helmet setup for the blaster is like it's like 2 grand, dude, which is fucking
Ooh,
rough.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that hump I had to get over, dude. There's all these. Yeah. Sometimes you get so wrapped up in just the grind and moving forward that you forget all the shit that you did along the way, man. You know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, just
Crazy.
a dude, a fucking air compressor, a good one. You're looking at over 2 grand. You know.
I got an Easton? Eaton.
Yeah,
It's an
the
Eaton,
Eaton.
yeah. An Eaton Polar Air or Silent Air, I forget, dude. But it's
Yeah,
a 10 horse. The thing is so fucking quiet and it
yeah.
cranks out like 35 CFM. It's the biggest one you can get to run on single phase power. I
Yep.
really like it. I try to keep up on my oil changes. Like I take
Yep.
care of my equipment, dude, you know?
Dude, that's the compressor that everybody recommends if you're doing like if you're a garage guy, you know, or a small business, because once you get into the screw compressors or whatever, they're like out of
Oh,
reach, you know, so
oh,
expensive.
dude.
But that thing's a
Some of them
beast.
some of the money that people spend on booths is insane, dude. And
Uh,
they're like hyped on it, like, oh, it's got this new setup on its way, and it's like a refrigerator size fucking spray booth, and the thing's like 5 grand, dude.
yeah,
You up
yeah,
that by like a third of a size, and it's like 10 grand.
yeah, dude. Once you get, I think like that a compressor for me has been like aside from using it for like things that like vapor honing or blasting, it's just nice to use air tools and to be able to like once I got it in there, I did all the piping and shit, so I have air drops everywhere,
Hmm.
and like having pneumatic tools is great because like when I like powder coat removal, right? strippers don't work, and I did a couple of frames, you know. I don't
Yeah.
have any. I can't blast it unless you're going outside and blasting it, and then you lose all your media, you know.
Right.
But being able to some of those paint removal like discs and shit, those things fucking work
Yeah,
awesome, dude.
they do. I use those frequently, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck they're made out of. They look like ramen noodles, and they
You
fucking
ever get your
eat.
hand with it?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I've
Oh,
lost plenty of skin.
find you a man that takes the guards off of his grinders.
Dude, I got one from Harbor Freight. It's like it's huge.
Hercules.
It's just a drum with of that stuff that like scrapes paint off. But
Yeah.
it's great for frames because it's squishy enough that it kind of rounds around the tube,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
then yeah, it makes quick work of that fucking paint.
Some
But
guys burn the powder off too. They'll get a roofing torch and kind of burn it off, but you can't start melting it. It's a very fine line between like burning the powder coat and getting it hot enough to melt the shit. If you melt the shit, it turns into like rubber you can't get off.
yeah, dudes just use any excuse to play with fire, dude. I don't get this
Some
all.
of the
Hey,
shit
try to burn it off. Yeah, let's fucking yeah, pour gasoline
some
all over it.
some of the shit I've breathed in over time is insane.
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah. We're gonna be in like a fucking class action lawsuit like fucking 20 years from now, you know, with some new cancer that we're breathing in now, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be like a golden set of lungs in the ground. That'll be all that's left of me.
Yeah, bro, I'll fucking because I'll wear masks and shit, like especially when I'm doing stuff that I'm like, this is really toxic shit. And then I'll go
God.
inside later, blow my nose, just like all black or whatever fucking color. I'm
Yeah.
like, how did that get in?
Dude, when I was like 15, I think I wire wheeled an entire frame of like a 94 Chevy pickup that was all scale rust with, I think I might have started using a bandana over my face like halfway through, but like after years of that shit, I'm all about PPE now.
Oh yeah,
Sign me up.
yeah, especially too with asthma, that would fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
admit the powder coating stuff is it can get pretty messy, you know, like that shit hangs in the air, you know. So
Oh yeah.
if you're just doing it in your garage, it'll just be like if you don't have fucking anything on, dude, you're breathing that shit in.
Yeah. Yeah. And dude, I mean, cleaning the shop out is like a surgical task every week, especially if I'm bouncing between like gloss black and gloss white. Or like, say I got to go from like a red job to a white job. Man, oh man, that's tough. But I will say something that helps with the contamination a little bit, I think. I've been using a primer on everything that I coat now. So it's like there's like a gray neutral tone going through the gun in between colors. So if anything, it helps clean it out a little bit. I also get,
Oh,
foam backing rod, like
mm-hmm.
for like filling in window gaps and stuff. I started running that through my hoses on the gun, like in between every color change. It kind of douches out the inside of the lines. There's just like there's a lot of little things that I picked up over time that if I didn't do every one of these little things, there's a huge possibility for like a fuck up, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So that's where it becomes tough to get an employee or anything like that. I do all this by myself, and I'm happy that way. But I got to be able to like sort of take my time a little bit. If
Yeah.
somebody's in a pinch or somebody's like, hey, dude, I got a sick build for a show coming up soon or something, I will work with them a little bit, do what I can to fit stuff in. But
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
all
that's
about
true.
I'm all about balance these days, dude. A lot of guys are like burnout braggers now, like running the working the fingers to the bone, and it's just like it's not the way, dude. You know, obviously sometimes there's no other choice, but um, yeah, I'm all about balance in the workplace.
Yeah, that's nice, dude. I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I don't, you know, I don't want to be working my fingers to the bone if I don't have to.
Yeah, man,
I like to chill. I like to fucking hang out, you know?
you bet.
Um, how do you clean those guns? Do you have to? Is it like a paint gun where you use like acetone or some shit, or is it
No acetone, just all air and
all
blowing
air?
those
Okay.
foam pieces through it. Yeah, yeah, just blowing it out all really good. And like at first, when you first get like a real like cart gun with a bunch of components and a hopper on it, it feels so overwhelming to have to pull it all apart and clean it every time.
Yeah.
But now I'm down to like 30 seconds, wham, bam, boom. I got a little order, I do it all in, and it's good to go.
No
So
shit.
the only tough part I have in the wintertime is doing matte black. I use blackjack from prismatic powders because it's a really fucking nice color. But it smokes like a bastard. So like when I'm doing huge, like, well, not huge, but like 80 part runs for like machine shops or something in the winter, I have to have the doors wide open and I'm freezing my ass
Oh,
off.
this fucking sucks, dude. Damn.
Yeah, a lot,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, yeah. I wish I had Wi-Fi down at the shop because seeing the shop is like it's a thing, dude. It's yeah. I'm proud to say it's different than anything I've seen before.
Yeah, dude, if you're going down there tomorrow or whatever, send me some pics so
Cool.
people can check it out.
You bet.
Because I've seen pictures of you inside the shop and it looks like a cool fucking shop, you know?
Yeah, man. Taken me years to get like that. I also want to uh, go on record and say that we're not moving to Rhode Island. There's some speculation. You know how plans are forever changing, dude. I was I was planning on moving the shop to Rhode Island this past September or next year tentatively. But my dear girlfriend Jenny found an awesome job local. Everything's much happy. I mean, not, we weren't happy, but everything's smooth, and we're going to be around here. And I just want to say thank you to Junior Burke from Burke's V Twin when I put a post up like, hey, I might be moving to Tiverton area, whatever. He got right at me, and he was like, hey, dude, my shop's right in Tiverton. Fucking hit me up, come down. He had a little extra space that he offered up for the move, just to like, at the very least, just put some of my shit, make the move easier. So yeah, thanks Junior for that. But yeah, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be in Pittsfield for a few years at least, I think. So
Nice. Stand up
yeah,
guy.
but I will take work from anywhere really. I ship and receive stuff. I mean, sometimes I'll go meet people out like an hour out or something if I can make a cool trip out of it or something. But doesn't matter where you are, just hit me up and we'll see if we can work with it.
Hell yeah.
Every now and then I'll do runs of a few handlebars and levers for like Steve at Deadbeat. We ship stuff back and forth. Um,
Oh, no
you know,
shit.
yeah,
Hell yeah,
I'm,
dude.
I'm really I'm really stoked to have my hands starting to be sprinkled throughout the chop scene. I'm really proud of it, dude.
That's so fucking cool. Dude, Steve's such a good guy. He's one of
Yeah,
our sponsors, our longest running sponsors.
very
Uh
straightforward. I
oh
like it.
yeah, yeah. But that's cool. He's supporting local fucking business owners, you know?
Not even that local to him, dude. So I'm very flattered. So thank you, Steve.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, you guys are in the same state, but like different sides of the state, right?
Yeah, yeah. The traveling Larry from right out in that area where Deadbeat is, he's always been great to me. He invited me out to that or the Project Chopper show, the first
Yeah.
one that he did, where where the trike took home the gold. That
Oh, no shit.
was cool. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. Okay.
yeah,
What was it called?
the project.
The Project Show. Yeah.
The project. I think he still does. He did one or two after that, but I wasn't able to make them. I didn't have any projects going on.
Yeah,
So
dude, it sucks. I had this idea for a show forever, and I was gonna do it, and it was gonna be called Done by Spring, and it was gonna be only projects. So it was gonna be a winter show that you bring your project to, and then we were gonna have another show in the summertime. So and then everybody, if you finish your project, it could be in the show, or you could bring your project back. But then it was the same year I was planning on doing it, and I think it was Dan sent me like, dude, he sent me the project thing, and it's like, fuck. So he
oh,
definitely
dude.
we both came up with it independently. We never talked about it, so it was just a cool idea.
I have a couple ideas in my head that I know somebody's going to do before I get the time to do it. and I just like I gotta like namaste, fucking,
Yeah,
not
dude.
even worry about it.
I know. Yeah, that really bummed me out because it's such a great concept, you know, especially with like dudes that build their own bikes. It's like, dude, if you don't have some motivation, like to get you to give you a due date, you know, like chopper
Yeah,
dudes especially, we're just kind of like, oh, we'll get to that later, you know, or life
well,
shit comes up and you don't get to it.
there's no reason that that can't become a popular show format.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll talk to him. I'll be like, hey, if you stop doing it, I might do it because I love the concept of it. It's really
I'm
cool.
sure you could talk him into it,
Yeah,
strong arm him a little bit.
yeah. And I think I missed that show because it was the same day as another show. I think it
Yeah.
was the same day as another show that I was already committed to, but I did want to go to that. Yeah, yeah. He's another wild one. He's are you have you been to the Deadbeats since they moved to Blackthorn?
I have not, but there's nothing against it.
Hmm.
Um, it's just not, there was a no mini bikes thing there this year. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I understand from like those early deadbeats at Fiddlehead. There's a handful of people that kind of hijacked Steve's event and turned it into the debaucherous thing that it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will go back to Deadbeat. You know, it'll just be forever different from what I think I knew it as. Maybe I'll bring the scooters. We'll have a scooter stunt show. Get Ryan to bring his with me.
Yeah, dude, there's it's definitely it's a different show because number one, like if you went to Deadbeat at Fiddlehead, it was mini bike madness. I mean,
Yeah,
there's more mini bikes than motorcycles probably.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, it was I missed out on so much fun growing up not having a mini bike, you know, when
Mm.
I finally got like a mini bike a few years ago, inspired by the Deadbeat retreat. I was like, dude, next year when I come here, but I'm having a mini bike. They're just so fun. They're perfect conveyance out in the woods like that, like on the trails and shit.
Yeah,
But
so
dude,
much fun. I wish I never. I was as a dumb 16-year-old. That first PW80 that my dad had got me when I was in like third grade. I trade. It was like fucking. It was pretty thrashed by this point, but I traded it for like a BMX rail, and
oh
now I'm
no,
like fucking so hard kicking my ass, dude. Wishing I still had that PW80 just to have like, you know.
oh yeah,
But
dude.
I get sentimental with everything I own too. I have to get out of that habit because I'll never sell anything if I stay like that.
Yeah, I'm not like sentimental at all. Like I fucking the less stuff I have cluttering up my garage, the better, you know? Like
Yeah.
I was telling you about that Triumph I got. I just got a Triumph and then I was like I didn't even post anything. It was actually the dude I bought it off of was like, "Thanks, Rhino." And some other dude hit me up. He's like, "Yo, give me that Triumph." And I was like, "Okay." I haven't even fucking started it yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, fuck it. Um
Dude, a lot of people ask me like, do I work on bikes and stuff here? Like, my ultimate goal is to like build bikes for myself the way I would want them, and then like
mm,
sell them off when I feel like it. I mean, that's kind of the ultimate goal for any real builder, just to be on your own time and building your own stuff. But I can't, I don't understand how people run like small time bike shops, dude. Just because as soon as a motorcycle leaves your shop and then something breaks that the person wanted to avoid replacing or something like that, some way
yeah.
around it, and the bike breaks, the only thing people seem to hear is whose shop the bike last came from. You know what I mean? And it's like this echo. It's like this echo effect. Even if
Yeah.
it's something I didn't touch doing a service on a bike for somebody and they don't want to replace it and it breaks, I don't want to have my name floating around on that. You know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, that's a fucking tough game, dude. Having a bike shop, building bikes for a living. Like,
Yeah.
God bless those guys. Yeah, like Chris, Oxford Co. Choppers, like badass bikes and But to make it into a business, it's just like it's the coolest job though, right? It's like building bikes
Yeah.
for a living. But yeah, it must be just all the bullshit you have to deal with. Because building bikes is kind of hard, like especially if you're like once you've built a couple of them, once you get a couple under your belt, you're a lot more confident and you can go into it and shit. But the problem is, especially if you're a bike builder, for like that you're commissioning other people, you kind of have to push yourself into areas that you're not really comfortable with. Like
Right.
people are like, "Hey, I want this on my bike," and you're like, "That's gonna be shitty." I'll do it because you're paying me to do it.
Oh, dude, that's the tough stuff right there, man. Yeah, when you're doing some real cornball
Oh
shit.
yeah, yeah. So
And,
yeah, with paint, they bring it to you, and you're like, "I really don't want to do this, but I really want to eat food and have heat this winter."
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I can't imagine, dude. I don't know how some people are so good at customer service. They're so good at compartmentalizing anything people say and just.
Oh yeah,
I feel like as soon as something's like a day overdue, I feel like people are looking in my blinds.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Where is he? Is he working on my stuff? Hey,
yeah.
bro, any update pics?
What is like your lead time typically? Like, I mean, it depends on how big the job is, but
I got a cough. Excuse me. Hold on.
oh yeah,
My typical lead time, I try to not let stuff go longer than 2 to 3 weeks.
that's really quick.
But I talk to people ahead of time. If they can't wait that and I'm busy, then it's all good. Go somewhere else, dude. There's no fucking hard feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no animosity between me and in any other shops. The one in town sends me some overflow and they can't fit it. There's Pike powder coating. Zach Richards out right off the Mass Pike toward Boston area. There's Carrie's Custom Powder in New Hampshire. Chris Powder Slayer. I forget where he's out of, but yeah, dude. My turnaround time is about 2 to 3 weeks. If you can wait it, you will not be disappointed.
dude, that's really good. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience with powder coating, but that sissy bar took over a month, and it was had a bunch of drips on it, and it was just gloss
Not
black.
for me. Not for me.
No, 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 no. From another shop that I won't drag their name through the mud because they probably just had a
Oh
bad
yeah.
week. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
dude, I've had a bad week before, man.
yeah, I
You
fuck
know.
up all the time.
Yeah. I was doing a frame for Chris, Oxford Coach Hoppers, and it was that chrome frame, and it was like it's a show bike, dude, and I just fucking coated the thing chrome, and I like somehow went blind looking at one spot on the frame, and I totally missed a big fucking mark down the thing. Even like, dude, he was like halfway home with it, and he noticed it in his rearview mirror. I don't know how the fuck I missed it. So we worked it out. He got it right back to me. I banged it out like overnight, I think, and it was taken care of. But dude, shit happens even with the best of them. You have
Yeah,
wacky weeks, but
yeah. You just
yeah,
gotta fucking make it right. It's like,
absolutely
yeah, yeah.
nothing worse than
When
shady business.
for that spot, so it's just one spot. Can you repair just that one spot, or do you have to do the whole thing?
Good question, dude. No, you have to do the whole thing over again, especially with chrome powder because it's yeah, there's no way to really fade powder into one another.
Dude, that's different. Yeah, because like if you're, wet painting, you fuck a little spot up, you can repair a little spot.
Yeah, there's no real blending with powder. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure you might be able to if you really worked it out in the right steps, but
yeah.
for that amount of time, just fucking throw it in the acid and get
Oh
it
yeah,
over with.
yeah. The dip, like from fucking
The
Roger
dip.
Rabbit, dude.
The bubbly cauldron.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be the thumbnail for this. Is your face superimposed on that dude?
I love it. I
That's
love
such a
it.
that's such a fucking good movie, dude. Like it stands the test of time. Like I could watch it right now and it's still as good as the first time I fucking
I
saw
gotta
it.
be honest with you. I think I'm gonna have to go watch it after because I haven't watched it
Ever?
ever.
Holy shit. How old are you?
29.
Okay. That you get a pass.
No, but I like old movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
All my friends are old. I always hanged out. I always hung out with the older crowds, man. I didn't have time for the fucking younger BS, dude. I would get in trouble in high school, and I was going on my third freshman year. I'd just be hanging out with all the seniors when I should have been at fucking class.
Yeah, I always hung out with the older kids when I was in school. Now I hang out with a bunch of young kids because
Yeah.
I have the maturity of like a 20-year-old still. But
Hey, that's we got to keep our youth as we go. I'm always thinking about time and the clock, and I'm trying to work on that.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, man, just trying to use every moment that I can now, just to live life, dude.
yeah. What do you got? I guess what do you got planned? What's coming up for you in 2025?
So my biggest plan is to get set up with that the new stripper, the eco stripper setup, and I'm back and rolling offering that. And then I'm trying to get a 40-foot shipping container for out back of the shop, because who doesn't want one of those?
Dude,
You know, be able to put all the bikes in. I'm going to insulate it so it stays nice in there. And then, so once I get the majority of the this or that out of the shop and more space in there, I have a lathe that I just picked up. Me and my good friend Mike Roy. Thank you, Mike, for helping me pick that fucking heavy thing up. It's a lathe kind of like Nate Plum has, if you follow any of his stuff.
mm-hmm.
It's green and that size. And then I have a Bridgeport that another good friend of mine, AJ, has that I'm going to be getting. So I have a small functioning analog machine shop inside the shop, hopefully by this time next year. You
Oh,
know?
fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, yeah. And then I probably in the shipping container, in half of it, I'll probably do like a little bike lift, like a little just wrenching workshop, and have my main shop just for fab coating and a little machining.
What's like a 40-foot shipping container go for these days?
Like 3 grand, give or take,
For a 40 foot, okay.
for a 40 footer, and the 20 footers are just about the same, really. Yeah,
Really?
I think the 220, you can get two separate 20 footers, and that's about like $4,500, and a single 20 footer is like 2,600. So why not get a
40
40
footer,
footer? Yeah.
yeah. Damn, dude. Yeah, I want one of those fucking bad. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
So
want to
that's
bury one just to like make a bunker or something. Just
there's so
want
many cool things you can do. Somebody built a whole block in, I think, Brooklyn out of shipping containers. It looks like shit, but it's kind of neat.
it. Just like me. Uh,
Say that.
I'm
Yeah,
of
great.
kind of neat, but I do look like shit.
No,
Um,
you're good looking, bro. You're good looking.
you got jokes. Uh,
I promise not to send you any more hate mail to HR, okay? No
yeah,
more accusations.
dude, Brooklyn's such a weird place that like whose fucking idea was that? The land that's built on must have cost a fortune. So you know some
And
rich
like
guy fucking did it.
and like the bloody sidewalks that it's built on.
No shit.
Yep.
Up first, we got Steve over at Deadbeat Customs. Steve's all about grassroots motorcycle riders. Take it upon themselves to build and customize their bike. They offer parts for all Harley-Davidson models and also offer custom parts for choppers, bobbers, trackers, and cafe racers. When it comes to building custom motorcycles, they carry the best brands available. Go visit their brick and mortar store in Tewksbury, Mass, or at deadbeatcustoms.com. Remember to enter code LOWLIFE at checkout to save some money. Next, we got Lowbrow Customs. Tyler and his team not only work hard to supply motorcycle enthusiasts with cool parts from small shops all around the world for over 20 years, but they also keep innovating and creating new parts and accessories, getting them out on the road. They are the #1 source for custom and chopper parts for your motorcycle. Go visit lowbrowcustoms.com. Next, we got Stay Strong Co. John Luke has been sent down from the heavens to bless us lowlifes with the greatest hot sauce on this mortal plane. Sweet heat baby Jesus in the white pants heralds a message from God himself. Don't put this on your butthole. It's for your mouth. The shits, and the hotter than hellfire lowlife chopper sauce. Go to staystrongco.org today and grab yourself the holy trinity of hot sauces. Next, we got Oxford Co. Choppers. Chris, the original bad boy bombaclat from Oxford, Connecticut. Frame restoration and repair, handlebars and hardtails, hard parts for hard men. His hardtails are TIG welded and installed in-house. Made from USA-made steel, he is your man for the hardest shit to hit the East Coast since Hurricane Bob. Find him on Instagram at oxfordco.choppers.
Yeah, dude. Hey, was there anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanted to get into?
Shit, man. I don't know. I mean, not necessarily. I just figured we'd let conversation take us wherever it went. I think it's been a good conversation with you, man. I just have maybe like a few people I'd like to shout out, just that I appreciate over time. Just because like some people have been super good to me for like people that don't even really know me that much. And I'm out in this area in Pittsfield. It's sort of like isolation. I got a homie Alex and like Ryan's close by and Nick, I got a few motorcycle homies close by. But yeah, whenever I make it out, some people are just super fucking welcoming, and that would be like Chris Johnston, Oxford Co. Nate Plum, he's like one of my favorite builders lately. Derek Savage's bikes are fucking sick. Ryan Savoca, RJ, like he's been super good to me. Daddy George, Naked Dude from Deadbeat, that one year. Yeah, George is fucking
Legend.
awesome. Yeah. Jamie Rock with 518 Motorcycles, always inviting us out anytime they do anything. He put us up in his RV overnight there for the ice races one year, which was so fucking fun. And I met Jamie and those guys like in peak wastedness. Like I was probably annoyingly wasted almost at that time, and they were just like, come on back any fucking time you want, dude. So I appreciate them dudes. And yeah, I mean, Alan Fazone for having me at Porky's Hog City a couple of years. Chicken Rick for always staying in touch, always makes me feel included. Shares pictures that we've either had together, pictures I've gotten. And yeah, that's about it, man.
Yeah, dude. I gotta
I'm
say
sure
that
there's
list is a good list. I can personally, like, 95% of that list, I know all those dudes personally, and they're just solid dudes. They make this community worth keeping alive,
We could sit here and keep naming off names for another half hour, but it would get redundant. And if I forgot you and you feel like you should have been on that list, I'm still thinking of you. I promise.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, there's no maximum shout outs on the show. We are here to spread the love. And it's one of those things that, like, those dudes don't put it out there. You know what I mean? But it's like that there's not once you go out into the real world, not the chopper world or the fucking motorcycle world, people are not like that. People do not give the shirt off their back,
Yeah. It's almost this it's like this forgotten way of being how my parents raised me to be that I feel in certain people. And that's like why I was at the beginning. I don't know if it was in the beginning of this one. I was bitching about oversaturation with people and knuckleheads, but like I can pick and choose what events I go to that don't have those people at it. And that would be like Worcester Bike Week, and like La Espada was a good one. And there's like plenty of ones, dude, that like Porky's Hog City that didn't have any knuckleheads.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm stoked to have found my way into this awesome batch of people that seem to take a liking to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, all those shows, dude, like everybody's awesome at those shows. Like if you go to a La Espada fucking chopper show or swap meet or Easy Times, like everybody that's there is fucking awesome. It's such a good time. Like there's never any trouble, dude. Everybody looks like they'll stab you in the fucking throat, but they're all like the nicest, most solid fucking humans.
I was just gonna say that, dude, as much as like of an outgoing person I think I am, and like, I'm well aware that the beefiest looking people are like the nicest fucking people. There's still that level of fright when you meet somebody that's like head to toe in tattoos. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I often say something really dumb or like talk about the weather, and I walk away. I'm like, what the fuck was that? That's what I was talking about. If I've seen anybody out in public and they've had just a fucking monotonous ass conversation with me, I promise I have more to talk about than that.
Well, that's the toughest thing about not drinking would be for me is the social aspect of it. I'm a fucking
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like shy. I'm just like very, I don't know how humans interact. I'm not very, I guess, amicable, like outgoing and shit until I get a couple beers in me, and then I'm like, whatever. But uh yeah, and then the other thing is if I quit drinking and I smoked, I would become a motherfucking hermit because I do not like being outside in crowds when I'm
I
high.
kind of, dude, I kind of have, man. After like, so the end of my partying, end of anybody's partying looks different for everybody, but like, um, fuck yeah, I don't know. Scratch that one. I don't know what I was gonna
Yeah.
go on with that one, but
Well, yeah, so how do you if people want to get in touch with you, how's the best way to if they need something powder coated?
413-212-0250 is my work cell, and you can text it or call it and leave a voicemail anytime. I will do my best to get back to you in a reasonable time, but I am my own secretary, so try to give me a little leeway on it. If you send me one text and it says deliver, I promise I got it.
You need an intern that will work for free.
Yeah, I'm sure Jenny would be more than pleased to do that for me. She's offered, dude. She's so sweet, but it's still like all the requests have to go through me anyway, so I still have to like sort it all out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're that involved in the level of quality and shit. And like you were saying before, like when shit leaves your shop, like you don't want to have a bad name, and it's like,
It'll keep, dude. I'm like I'm probably way too anal. I'm like obsessive about my reviews. I want everybody to be happy. I want all 5-star reviews. Just because, like, I don't know, dude. I don't want to be the guy that makes somebody feel like I slept on their job. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, oh, it looks like he's putting out all this great shit all the time, but I got a crappy job. What happened? I don't want that to ever happen. So I want everybody to get the same fucking product, And if there's like stuff I can't take, or like shit that the chrome is peeling off of really fucking bad, and it's gonna look
mm,
like shit, I'll be like, hey, it's gonna look like shit, but I'll do what I can. And nine
yeah,
times out of 10, it comes out way better than I expected.
yeah,
No, you're always gonna get up front with what I feel like I can do confidently, and yeah, I'm just trying to provide a service that I would pay somebody to do.
yeah, yeah, dude. Well, it's been fucking. I might hit you up. I definitely want to build my own oven. So if I come
Yeah.
across, I'll probably build it slowly over time because I don't have 3 grand just fucking in my couch cushion right now. But start getting together parts. What's like a good? They must have like Facebook groups for building your own oven and shit like that. What's like good online resources?
There's a website that I found a build on. I'll
Oh,
send you the link
fuck yeah, dude.
gladly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be
And there's
awesome.
powder. It's just called Powder Coating Group on
Hmm.
Facebook. Excuse me. Yeah, that's got a lot of custom oven builds. They got the search bar up top. You just type in like oven build, and
Hmm.
there'll be a bunch of stuff pops up. But just use your heads. There's a lot of people doing knucklehead shit out there. You know, doing unsafe ovens and shit like that. I will
Hmm.
say my 5 by 7 by 3 oven, I have 4 heating elements inside it, each 300 watt, and it takes forever to get up to temp on its own. So I have it boosted with a torpedo heater. I have an elbow running from a torpedo, a propane torpedo, not a fucking kerosene because you light your whole shit on fire. Uh, but yeah, I have a torpedo into the side of it to boost it to get up to temp, and then once it's there and sitting there, I'll let the electric just keep it there.
No shit. Does that like help you heat your shop in the wintertime too, right?
Oh yeah, that's my only form of heat. Yeah,
I was going to ask you if it's your only form of heat.
yeah. I just turn the oven on when I go in the morning.
No shit. Yeah. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. All right, dude. Jesse, thanks again for coming on. It's been fucking awesome talking to you. We'll have to catch up again too, later on. I'm sure I'll see you around at some shows, but stick around. Until next week, low lives. Roll the dice. Get in trouble. Have fun. And never stop chopping.